Thank you, Chief.
Looking forward to talking to you about deer hunting, apparently.
You guys will not leave the table because that's next.
Well, we're gonna talk about it, but I don't know if Adam's prepared for it though.
I'll listen.
Because he's, Steve specifically mentioned that he dug into this and Adam's gone last week.
Yep.
You just got the paperwork today, so.
Right, so I think what we need from the, well, let's move on. 8C, consideration of a course of action to address the excess deer population in city limits. See attached staff report and sample ordinances from other communities. You guys have had a chance to read the other ordinances. I think what the council needs to do is what their expectations are of an ordinance of this matter. I know Vern put his input in there at the special meeting, talked about how he found an arrow back of his house. I know he has concerns. I know digging into this gives me the willies. And but people, people become, talk about it, we need to deal
I
with it.
think the priority needs to be safety,
Yes.
by all means, and as I look at some of the ordinances, and I don't know exactly the areas that they have, these other cities have pointed out, but there's one thing about Rushford, and every flat space is pretty much already built on. All the elevated spots are where the deer are, and you go up on top of one of those hills, and if you're shooting anything, it's going to travel a long ways if you miss, or if it glances.
I think we need to have it specify, or if and when we do approve it, that it is fired, or any arrows lodged or dislodges into the bluff. And they, as most of these cities have, they have a stand that they have to be in so that they can fire down rather than just straight forward. So,
That in theory, that works, but the deer don't always cooperate, and so they might not always be on the hill side of the tree that this person is in.
if I had had a bow and arrow and a license, I could have gotten a 6-point buck just the other night, and I could have fired straight into the hill.
Granted,
Nothing around there,
I understand.
so,
But I think if we're gonna give licenses, we've got to specify that.
oh yeah,
Well, and
limited
there's
number as well.
even these ordinances, I think, might be a little bit lacking for what Rushford would need, just because of the close proximity that the area that we control is to all of the homes.
We have
So,
a very unique set of circumstances.
It really is.
Yeah.
I think we're a little smaller than a lot of
We've got a
these
good
towns
spot.
too.
You know,
We're a little smaller than a lot of these towns too.
Yeah,
We're a lot.
Yeah, a lot smaller.
And
Go
we
ahead.
just got those new hiking trails up on the bluff too, so even if you're shooting, you say shoot into the bluff, you have a lot more people wandering the bluff than you used to.
They're not wearing blaze orange either.
well, the thing
Well, I
is,
think
Go ahead, Roger, go ahead.
I think a good spot would be over there where they're talking about building a school. You know, you can shoot right up in the bluff area there in the pines. That way.
Behind my house too.
Yeah.
Roger,
you'd have to, wouldn't you have to get
Miro's old house.
approval from Brunsroods if you were to go up in that?
They're back in. They're back beyond it. That isn't their land.
Right. I'm not sure where their land is and the schools begins, but
It's back to.
well, yeah, that's another concern too. Once you get in that direction, then you're firing out away from the city, but at some point you're firing at other residences.
At some
Maybe we
point you might
should,
run
yeah.
into,
Turn it over to the chief there and let him go shoot him.
I'll shoot deer for you, but,
I don't think that's his definition, his job description.
but you might also run into people that, it's a good area to hunt like that to school, but the school doesn't want any form of archery or gun on their property.
It's private property. and we can't set an ordinance for private property.
Up on the hill here, don't we close the park off at November?
You know, I'm not sure what usually it's like a first snowfall or something like that, so they don't have to keep plowing it.
So we'd have to make a license for after we shut the park off, so nobody'd be up there. One thing.
Yeah, and it's like Steve said too, there's huge advantages to coinciding it with the normal deer license, or the normal deer season. Archery, of course, is a longer season. I don't think anybody's serious about considering guns.
No.
No, I think we could,
No.
Thank
I
God.
won't, yeah, within the city limits, it would only be archery, we can't have gunfire in the city limits, we can't have it.
And it has to be limited to just a certain number of people and
At a
qualified
time.
people.
At a time.
Yes.
Right.
Qualified by, you have to take tests. or
Proficiency
years.
test.
Proficiency
Chiefs.
test, yeah.
I've actually bow hunted in different western states, and they have a class called Advanced Bow Hunter Education. Maybe that could be a prerequisite before, and then they could come and do like a certification or something with the police
Yes.
department or whoever it would be.
Yep.
Most desirable.
So, these archery hunters now, don't they have to have they gotta have a license?
They have an archery
Buy
license,
a
yes.
license, but you don't have to,
You don't have to be
all you
good
gotta
at
do
it.
is have a bow and an arrow and buy a license.
Yeah, you don't have to be good,
I'm sure you sure not have
Unfortunately.
an apple on your head.
so.
So I think it's worth talking about some more, but I really think that we need to table it until we have,
I would like.
Well, I don't even think we really need to table, it's just, we're just getting it out there that we're considering
Yeah.
it.
but we really need to have
If, yeah.
more input from staff.
From staff,
From the
from
administrator, from the chief.
from the residents of the town, there's gonna be public hearings over it. It's gonna go through probably planning commission, Kathy? Who would tackle this?
I don't know, but probably not so much planning. I think this is just the type of ordinance you could just do through council.
Council, okay. Can I just,
Yeah,
The only
it's
way
not
I saved
really,
any of my
yeah.
garden stuff this year, I put a fence around it. Put electric fence, that's much higher, and it kept them out.
yeah,
The only way I ever did
Ralph
it.
Hatling really
Keep your guard
put up
dog
quite
out
the fence
later
to
at
do it
night.
too.
Huh?
Keep the guard dog out later at night.
Yeah, my guard dog says woof woof and then he runs back.
But if you found specific areas that you thought were good to set up the shooting shop or whatever, you know, and if it is on private property or school property, you'd have to somehow work that into the equation that you get permission to do that.
Written permission or something of that
Yeah.
nature.
They all specified you have to get written permission on these.
Yeah. If it was on
Because
private
we don't really
property.
have any open city land anywhere that works, do we? Can you think of any?
Well, except for
But-
the bluff.
Flat or city land, yeah.
No, not anything flat.
Could go down to the dump area.
It could be down the dump area, maybe even down by the spillway,
Yeah,
you know, the point.
Yeah,
the spillway, the point where they're looking at the new canoe launch.
Oh, down by
Yeah.
Public Works, down that way and stuff?
Yep, and then
Go up
even
over
closer
there.
to the,
Yeah, there's
like the 4-H.
family
There's-
deer
there's-
living right there.
Plenty of
Yeah.
deer, I mean, I don't know, that little stretch from Quick Trip to the fertilizer plant, a
Usually,
dozen deer a year
oh yeah,
Yes,
at
yes,
least.
yes.
Every night I go down and
Killed.
put fertilizer on for the flowers. I'll bet you I count from 7 to 10, 11 of them
Mhm.
every night. They're just standing there and they look at you. The dog goes over and barks at them, then they stomp their feet and he comes running back.